Welcome to the inner sanctum.
I'm in the shadows. I got one last job, one last job.
Well, we're stabbed through the head. Well, hi, everybody. This is weird, isn't it? We're going to have just us on the same camera.
We're here, both.
It's
one
weird.
camera. Hello.
It's just happened this way. I don't know what to say. Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Inner Sanctum. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Usually we have like a whole bunch of announcements, but we're not going to do all that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop comments. And just a real quick, what they are is Fall of Night is on in demand over on Indiegogo now that the campaign's wrapped up. So if you missed out on it, go check it out. And then the other one is One Last Jobs in pre-launch. And I'll try, I guess, to do cleaner links next time because it cut them off. And the other big thing is we did a show last week or the week before, I think. I don't remember when it was, with Tier Jackson. And we had a lot of fun doing that, and we have decided to turn that into a monthly show as well. So the second Tuesday of every single month, we're going to do this little show right here called That's Pitching. So basically, we did voiceovers for a bunch of our friends' campaigns. We got their elevator pitches from them and had a little bit of fun doing elevator pitches in voiceover voices. And then for all the ones that I had, I sent them the clips that they can use for whatever they need them for. But we had a lot of fun and had a massive amount of response. So we want to keep doing that. And, you know, that's fun for us. Also, hi, everybody. So let's not even waste time. Bam, boom, bang, pow, whip.
It's a full house.
Full house tonight. Hey, everybody.
Holy cow.
We are missing Mark, though. I don't know where Mark is. Maybe he'll join us later. But hey, everybody, how's everyone doing?
How you doing?
Good.
We're here with you. How much better could we be doing on a Monday?
Oh, John.
There you go.
Oh, John. So I think the first thing we want to do is make sure we do our normal thing, which is go around the horn, just tell everybody who you are. And I guess whatever the current thing is that you are working on. So, John, since you happen to be the first one I clicked, go ahead.
All right. Thanks for having me on. We're here to talk about child possession services and talk to these wonderful people about all their projects today. We have a book live right now. It's Chapter 3 of Child Possession Services, a social worker for possessed or recently possessed children. And in this issue, she tackles the legalize it debate. Should demonic possession be legal for all across the world if it became a commonplace thing? So that's where we're at in the story.
Excellent. Madeline?
I'm Madeline Holly Rosing, the writer-creator of Boston Metaphysical Society, and we currently have on Kickstarter our very first hardback edition of Volume 1, which is about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston.
Yay. Ed?
So I'm Ed Davis, and my current project that's live right now is the 9th issue of Immortal Era. And this one is a standalone issue that centers on a quest by one of our main characters' father to save his wife from the soldiers who took her because she was pregnant. So he's on a quest to rescue his wife and bring her back.
Dun, dun, dun. And Sean?
I'm Sean Wood. I'm the writer of The Fog Within. We have our Kickstarter for number 2 going on right now. It is a futuristic book, dystopian sci-fi. They basically, in the present, there was a catastrophic event. A couple days later, our main character, Hunter, is pushed into the future, 26 years. Doesn't know how I got there, what's happening. There's a ruling regime going on, and there's rebels. And Hunter is there, part of a prophecy, trying to stop the ruling regime from what they're doing. And yeah, goes from there.
Awesome. And freaking Greg.
We have Scales issue 1 on Kickstarter right now. If you like The Goonies, The Count of Monte Cristo, or Indiana Jones, you like Scales. It's a supernatural superhero origin story. without any superpowers. So just try to figure that out. Young Eric Drakeson goes on a tropical family vacation, and bad shit happens to him.
There. All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty, we'll play a couple of rounds of the game. So it's game. All right. This is our new thing. It used to be just random stuff, but this time, this is what we're going to start doing. We're going to start playing catchphrase. For those that don't know, we're going to try to describe things. We're going to see which of you can guess what we say or what we're talking about first. I don't know if you want to trade off or if you want to pay attention to who answers first.
We'll trade off.
All right. Is everybody ready to play a few rounds of catchphrase? Let's do it. All right. If you know the answer, make sure you say it. And let's mix this up. So this is a colloquialism. You say it. It involves the cold, and it's something you say when you're meeting somebody. You do this a lot at work events when it's a group of new people. It's like the first task they're going to make you do, especially at conventions. It's not cons. That's the second thing you do. But when you meet these people, you're going to try to have a conversation to help.
Introduce yourself?
Yeah, but like what kind of thing would you see? DM.
DM
in the comments. There you go.
Yeah.
Breaking the ice.
Okay.
Icebreaker. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a boxer who has a certain type of way of speaking, and he also played a
Mike
pigeon
Tyson.
in a cartoon.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Rick and Greg.
These are the best kind of breakfast rolls. They're ooey gooey.
Bagels?
You bake them in the
Breakfast
oven.
rolls.
Cinnamon
Yeah,
rolls.
there you go.
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. All right, I'm way off.
Oh gosh. Okay, if you were going to war and you needed to put in the sky very large things to
That's blimps?
kind
Airplane?
of, but a different sort. Yeah.
The boat you would carry those on.
Oh.
A naval
Okay,
ship?
so
What kind of boat would you carry a bunch of
A U-boat.
helicopters? and-
Aircraft carrier.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
It's
of
in the
course.
name.
All right, one more just for kicks and giggles. Oh goodness.
You can't. Rapunzel couldn't use this,
Her
right?
hair.
That's what that is, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, Rapunzel definitely used her hair.
The front door?
Oh man, I don't know what the right. It's a.
Ladder.
Or you have thread is wrapped around a.
Yep.
The needle. The
No,
spinning wheel.
Spindle?
Wheel.
smaller than that. We're almost there. It's
Like a
it's
Bungee
little.
for her hair or something?
It's what thread is wrapped around when you buy it from like
Scrunchy.
a shop.
Spindle?
A spindle.
Close. There you go.
Yes,
Spool.
that's the word.
All right.
Wait, why couldn't Rapunzel use it?
I don't know.
Are you
Was
thinking of
that-
sleeping? You
Is
were
that a
thinking of
different
Sleeping
fairy tale?
Beauty.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
Sleeping
different
Beauty.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Rapunzel. Yes.
I wasn't gonna help you get there.
All right. So that was just I don't know. That was
That was
our
the
way of
chaos of catchphrase.
breaking the ice. You
Yes.
see what I did there?
We broke the ice.
All right. Let's see what other thing that we always have to make sure that we do is we like to do recommendations. And because we hired a mascot very recently, his name is Harold. He's a flamingo. He has a new recommendation for everybody on something that they should check out. So we're going to send it over to Harold live from the Everglades. And honestly, I don't think we could agree more. We also back up this recommendation. It is Shogun for everybody.
Oh,
Harold's a big
Oh,
fan.
I've heard that's great.
Yeah, so we're caught up on it.
Yeah, we agree. We like it a lot. That's pretty good.
Really strong writing, really strong. So make sure you check that out on FX. Is anybody reading anything? I
Yeah,
love
oh,
asking
yeah.
creators this because
Comments.
Yeah.
It's a comics.
Comics, novels, audio, any of the above.
Give us something. What are you enjoying?
Right now at the gym, I'm listening to Adrian Tchaikovsky's third book in Lords of Uncreation. It's a sci-fi series that is excellent. Terrific world building. And I believe he won the Hugo for it last year.
Very nice.
Nice.
Ed quit. He didn't read shit.
Yeah. I asked him, and he said, forget it.
Like,
I read renowned cartoonist Daniel Klaus. I don't have a ton of experience with him, but he did a recent book called Monica, which a friend of mine was nice enough to borrow for me. I couldn't describe it to you if I tried, and that's kind of his forte. It's a very strange story about a woman who's searching for her estranged mother, who she thinks was in a cult, and she's trying to find it. But it's very awkward, very slice of life with some spooky supernatural stuff sewn in there ever so slightly, that you kind of forget about it at times, and it was something to behold. It's an awesome hardcover. So it's Monica, I believe it's up from Fantagraphics Press.
Dang it, Ed.
It's back.
It's because we asked what you were reading. It's rude, man.
Had to go read a book real quick. He's like, shit.
Yes.
What'd you read while you were gone?
Pac-Man.
How to break your computer if it stops working again.
Oh, goodness. All right. Anybody else reading anything?
I'm reading a lot of stuff. I mean, comic-wise, I've been enjoying Kill Your Darlings on with Image. It's been really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm actually reading a book that called Sellout, talking about like the feeding frenzy that the labels had with all the punk, indie, and emo bands of the 90s, and how they signed them, and how the fan bases turned on some of them, and how the major labels made them hate making music. So yeah,
what's that called?
Pretty interesting. Called Sellout.
Sellout. I'm gonna write that down right now. I'm going down.
It's good. It starts with Green Day and then goes all the way to
Nice.
My Chemical Romance, and talks about like Green Day and got the hugest backlash from the scene in San Francisco, and then just some of them, like the band Day, had a miserable experience recording because the studio wanted, or the label wanted so much from them that they were locking them in a room until they could finish it. So yeah, it's an interesting read. I'm only on the second band, but really good so far.
That's cool.
It's a real great time for learning about the 90s, huh?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, we that's the other thing we watched was the Quiet on Set documentary.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
It wasn't.
That's what I've heard.
Can't call it enjoyable.
Rethink all those things you watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And
poor kids.
And then you learn things about like actors that are still current that backed up people that were. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Depressing
upsetting
stuff.
Yeah. We both recently read this. I found a #1, so I was just like, well, we'll start it. Star Wars High Republic.
Cool.
Adventures. I'm sorry. I won't be continuing it.
You would hope it would be cool. Like you would hope, okay, it's a Star Wars story. There's some hope for it, right? Yeah,
not so much.
Probably not.
Oh, that's too bad. I heard a lot about it when it first came out, and then I just haven't heard a peep.
There's a great character in there, and it's a robot, and it's only in like the first 5 pages.
Always the best part.
Yeah.
And
as
then,
it is with Star Wars.
K2SO right here.
See, it's always the robot. And then after the first 5 pages, there's no more robot, and the story is just like, oh, it's like a weird romance story.
No. Well,
so it got weird.
That stinks.
I am caught up with Something Is Killing the Children, and talk about world building. Like, we're still so far away from the original character in the first series, and down so many other roads. It's interesting that it's.
Oh, I bowed out after the first kind of arc ended, like, when Erica's story kind of ended, and then they left it.
It gets crazy.
Back. So that's interesting. That
Well,
that's a good read if anybody has the library app, Hoopla, or whatever your library does. They often have them on there, and that's a great one just to kind of borrow.
Yeah, they haven't gone back to that.
Buy it if you can.
Yeah, I just finally, my brother collects graded comics and particularly variant covers of Something is killing the children. He loves those. So I finally like I have to go buy this. So I finally read the first volume and it's like, okay, now I got to go get the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the body bag covers for this one. I'm not super into variants myself, but when they did the body bag and it was perfectly sealed and you couldn't tell what it was and you actually really had to like wait to open it and find out what it was. You couldn't pick through beforehand. Like that was cool.
It's a lot of fun. John will appreciate, like, Magic the Gathering did that for one of their like short runs. I enjoyed that a lot, just not knowing who the artist was going to be.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that because
we could.
Well, we're indie.
Why not?
Oh no, you could do it, but nobody's going to be like, oh, I got to get one of these sealed.
The mystery variant,
silent
I guess. Yeah.
It's hard enough to sell a variant when they know who the artist is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Awesome. Well, I'm glad everybody's doing things and reading things except for Greg. Really cool. So I want to make sure that we do go through people's campaigns. I'm going to challenge everybody. And I guess this is just because we started doing our other show where you have to do a pitch. And that's what I want people to get is a pitch of your book. Like who's it for and why? What's the story? Because we do a lot of these shows, no slight at any of them, that we just end up rambling on about our own projects for a long time. And people are, they're out after the first 30 seconds or something. So before they can get to that point, I want you to, make sure you tell them what it's about, why it matters, who's it for, and what your favorite tier is for rewards. And since Greg didn't read anything, he has to go first.
It's not that $35 tier, right? Tell me it's not the $35 tier.
No, it's the 150 that everybody should
okay. Yeah.
All right, let me get it pulled up, and while you talk about it, I will scroll through it, and I'll rush you if I have to.
You have the playoff music for the Oscars. Just throw that on if you go too long.
Give him the hook.
That's right. Scales. All right. Is it up there? Is it up there?
Yep, we see it.
Yep. Oh, all right. Very cool. All right. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. It's a superhero origin story with no superpowers. It's for anyone that likes superhero books, which that's kind of weird. And it's a young Eric Drakeson goes on a tropical family vacation, and a lot of terrible shit happens to him and his mom. So yeah, that happens. So if you like adventure comics or just anything with adventure, like Indiana Jones or the Goonies, you like this.
Who would hate it?
If you don't like origin stories or superheroes, because if you think superheroes are dead,
it's Jessica right there.
Then don't.
Me. I've read this one. I personally like this one.
Everybody just keeps asking her for poll quotes. Just forget Aaron. Just go with her. All right, what's your favorite tier? You can't just say the top one. Which one's actually like your favorite?
The $150 one, more to the story, because you get to add your likeness to it. One person has picked that so far. And there's another person that like messaged me, but they never answered back after. I was like, well, it's kind of hard to like add you because they want to be like killed off. And
did they tell you that they can really help you grow your campaign?
No.
Okay.
No, it's like I think they might be legit. I don't know. They backed a couple other people that we know. And I don't think their card declined. But
I like that glow in the dark cover.
Yeah, that's if we hit 3,500. I mean, when we hit 3,500.
Yes, there you go.
That's awesome.
It's all done. Like Chad, I can't say his last name.
I didn't know Sean Barbarino was on this book. Man, everybody's on this book.
Yeah. I made this back in 2021 or 2020, and I just never had time to put it on a Kickstarter.
I did not know that either. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and if you haven't gotten other comics of ours, you can get Mittens 1, 2, Zero Chronicles 1 and 2, Ink 1 and 2.
Mittens. I don't mean to bust your chops, but can you explain the promo image here? This doesn't look like anything you described. This looks like a vacation resort. What is going on?
Well, it
Looks
is.
like it would
It's
be
a
a real
tropical
vacation.
vacation.
That's what you think. That's what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But then,
So,
surprise, surprise.
I changed the banner.
You should just
picture
cut the
just because-
image in half and then make the other half tinted in red.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Good idea. Design
Yeah.
guy over here.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's
Right.
like where that's their villa that they're staying at because rich family,
Yep.
and after the like beach scene, it kind of goes downhill or off a cliff.
Downhill.
see what spoilers.
Yeah, I have
Awesome.
spoiled the story a little bit in order to like promote it, but
You keep saying that,
Yep.
but why?
I don't know what to do. It hooked
It's one too
somebody
many.
on the podcast I was on. I was like, oh yeah, this person dies. What?
All right.
You'll
and
forget
Greg,
by the time you read it.
Yeah.
since you went first, you get to pick who goes next.
Madeline.
I knew it.
Okay.
See, I knew it. I already had it highlighted. All right.
Sure.
Predictable Greg.
Short pitch. This is our original 6-issue miniseries, all in one big, beautiful hardback with a cover by Rebecca Isaacs. Stories about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battle supernatural forces in late 1800s Boston. It'll appeal to people who like alternate history, science fiction, and mystery. I would say my favorite reward tier would be the Special Detective Black level, because that will get you the hardback, a PDF, the volume 2, and our first 2 issues of Pikes Peak, and a very cool what we have our Special Detective membership card in black. And these look really cool. This is it's a metal black stainless steel.
That's cool.
Ooh, that is cool.
Always such pretty books.
Stainless
Nice.
steel.
My selling point for this is that it's the story and it's a hardcover. That's awesome. It looks beautiful.
Our interior artist was Emily Hugh for original 6 issues. And what differentiates this special edition from our original volume 1 trade paperback is you can see it there. We've included what I call some of our scientists, that's Granville T. Woods, his diagrams of some of his weapons from his workshop. It also includes a bonus 10-page story that will be exclusive to this particular edition. And it will include pinup art that probably most people haven't seen unless they were with me many, many, many years ago. So it has a lot of cool things that most people haven't seen before.
It's awesome. I think the first time I had you on a show was like 2 years ago or something now. So I like seeing the changes, I guess, in the time periods. So I think it's really cool.
It's been a lot of fun kind of melding, real versus fiction in a historical context, and then throwing some ghosts and demons in to boot.
Yeah, for sure. What's next?
What's next is hopefully my artist will be well enough soon to return to work on the last 2 issues for Mystery at Pikes Peak. That's kind of on hiatus. She was in an auto accident about 6 months ago, so she's resting.
Yeah.
And when she's ready to come back to work, we'll pick up where we left off and keep going. And in the meantime, I have some prose projects I'm working on and some other comics projects. And I don't know, this was announced a while ago. I've written a story for Lady Mechanica. I know Joe's working on that now. That I'm not sure when that's going to be out. But that was a lot of fun.
Well, you get to play in someone else's sandbox.
Yeah.
Oh, I love playing in other people's sandboxes because the best part is you get to create the story and then you hand them the script and they said, you go produce it. I
Absolutely.
don't have to. I don't
Don't
have
call
to.
me, I'll call you.
Have fun.
That's fun. We'll talk more about all this. I'm going to let everybody start asking each other questions in a minute. Madeline, you get to pick who goes next.
Oh, Sean.
All right.
Let's see.
So the Fog Within 1 through 2. Right now, it's like I said, sci-fi dystopian. If you like, my elevator pitch has been it's G.I. Joe meets X-Men with the mysterious fog. Tim Fling actually gave me that, which I didn't think G.I. Joe's at all until after he said it, and I just been running with it since. But yeah, so like I said before, there's a catastrophic event in the present. We don't really explain in the first issue what happened. You just see the aftermath. And then a couple of days later, Hunter is thrown into this fog-like portal, and he ends up in the future with everything chaos. And there was an infection from this catastrophic event. Most of the adults are gone, and we don't know what happened to them. And because of this, the government was afraid of what could happen if the infection would spread. So there's the whole town of Brooks is walled, and there's the ruling regime of Schism is taken over since the government is gone. And yeah, Hunter's trying to figure out his way. The rebels help him along. There's some elite rebels you see in those pictures right there. You've got Alpha, Epsilon, and Zeta. They're the stronger of the rebels. They're extracting him from the Swarm, which is that soldier-like group to the right over there. And in the second issue, he's learning more about his ability. He has some kind of fog in him, hence the name, the Fog Within. And the elite rebels, some of them go off on a mission while he's trying to figure out his situation out, and chaos ensues. And the big thing with this issue is for the second cover, we talked about in the first issue, we talked about these things called the pets, and now they are prevalent in this issue, and they cause some mayhem. They're also in that cover as well, in the shadowing of Damon, which he is the main villain, which has some kind of ability as well, and you don't know how. So as the story progresses, we will explain more and more, of course. And in this issue, you see actually what happens the day of the event and how things started.
Awesome. Tier, what's your favorite one?
So might be corny, but I would say the catch-up tier, because that's actually been the biggest one for this issue, which I've been pleased with, because that just means there's more readers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's been nice to see. Of course, I like all the shiny stuff too, but the catch-up
I do too,
tier,
but
more people are seeing it.
that's pretty much how I feel about it too. Is the more people that can read it, the better I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah, this is a bit of a better start than the last one, because of course the last one was my first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just trying to keep the momentum going, and we'll keep on going. Once this one is funded, it's going to go directly into issue 3, and I'm hoping to have it out by August, September, something like that. So keep it going and eventually get a trade going.
It's awesome. So how long have you been working on comics?
Well, last year was my first year. So
Okay.
basically how I started was I saw on The Walking Dead Deluxe, when they started coming out a couple years ago, Robert Kirkman had in the background on the last page his outline, and just explained what he was doing with the outline. I was like, oh, it's that simple just to start. I know it's the first step. But that first step is
let's try that.
the hardest part. Yeah. So then I did the Scott Snyder class on Substack and Brian Michael Bendis' Substack. And I just had a great idea on a run, hence how he starts Hunter. He's running and turns into this fog. I just thought, hey, if I went through that fog and I was in the future, what would it look like? And just ran with the idea. And yeah, I started writing it last December. I figured out all the steps as I went along last year, from January to July-ish, and then I did my first Kickstarter last August to September. And now I've been moving along a lot quicker because I actually sort of have an idea of what I'm doing now. I'm not learning day by day each individual step. Which is,
you forgot the crucial step where you joined a Facebook chat group with all the best creators in the world.
All have been amazing.
Yes,
that's been a huge help too. I don't talk a lot on there, but I definitely absorb everything that y'all talk about. I'm taking notes every time someone comments of a place or a thing to use. I have a notes pad that I literally just copy and paste.
Next campaign, plushies.
Yeah, this is the closest I'll come to plushies. I got this little.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, Sean, you have good price points.
Yeah.
On your campaign. As someone who's been doing this for a decade, good job.
Thank you. Yeah, my first one was the wrong price points. I learned quickly on that one, so then that's why I fixed on this one.
Yeah, we always learn the hard way, unfortunately.
Yeah, first ones are always a doozy.
Yeah.
All right, you get to pick who goes next.
Let's go with John.
All right.
All right. I am John Westhoff, the sole proprietor for Part-Time Comics. Our current campaign is Child Possession Services. What if demonic possession became a more common thing around the world? Of course, the U.S. government will make a poorly run and underfunded agency to run that, and hence enter Connie Dar, a social worker for CPS, as her inside and outside of work life goes to hell. So it's more of a slice of life look at that take. It doesn't have actually had somebody who was really upset recently and sending me messages about how I should be talking about the government impacts and around the world and Catholicism. Oh, wow. And I said, no, this is more of like this is more like The Office, with demonic possession. It's more about workplace drama, the characters and how they interact. This is our third issue. We did one issue. It was the first comic for Part-Time Comics as I relaunched and rebranded into a new company in 2021 with my longtime collaborator and partner, Bob Gar-Ornelas. He unfortunately wasn't able to come back for art on this one, so we have the amazing Mata Sorcier and Miriam Yasser on colors. And we have April Reyna on variant covers. This is our first all female identifying creative team besides myself. So that was exciting too. I figured, after I brought Mata on with Connie being a female lead, I wanted to work with more creators who identify as women. So it's been great. We're about halfway through the book, and we're about almost halfway funded. It's been a bumpy start because I think there's been a bit of a gap between issues, but we're trying to get readers back from the first issue and the Halloween special we had last year.
It happens. Favorite tier?
Mm-hmm. I hate to say the big one, but it's the original art. Both of the amazing artists offered their covers up in this. And if you scroll down a little bit, that's the digitally colored version. But Mata actually didn't like how her second cover right there, she thought it looked a little too variant covery in the way that she hand lettered the logo. So we said, you know what? She reworked it. She did a lot of extra work. But then we also had this great cover, which this is the exact cover you'll get. It's colored. The same thing with April's cover above it. Rarely do artists color straight onto the artboard, and both of them did. Just ironically, I didn't know they were going to do that to begin with. And they're both offering them up in this campaign. So it's pretty rare that you get cover art. It's pretty rare that you get full colored cover art offered. So I think it's really cool that they've offered that up to kind of help the campaign here.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And we did our first not safe for work cover there, a little tongue in cheek. At our industry does a lot of not safe for work covers, but
no, they don't.
Obviously, ours is not the not safe for work that people usually expect. She's wearing a shirt that says support union, so obviously that's not safe in many work environments. So, so that was kind of a little teaser I was trying to do to get people more interested. Instead, it got people to cuss me out online and say it was gross that we were doing. You
didn't get the desired effect.
It did not get the desired effect.
They're like, "Where are the boobs? Damn it!"
Well, I think some didn't back because they were like, "Where are the boobs?" And some didn't back because then they thought it actually was, it was going to be pornographic or something like that. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
no, it was a bit
It's a
tongue
joke,
in cheek,
man.
but maybe I didn't read the audience well.
we need you to do these things for us so we don't have to do them. I think it's awesome, and I just love you all the more for it. Let's see. I missed some links in here, so I'm going back. Do 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 do.
I think you posted mine like 8 times, but thank you.
Well, it auto posts to all those places.
Oh, right, that's right. Never mind. All right, you're the last one, Edward.
Yep. All right. I did scales. I know I did that one. All right. Let's talk to Ed.
All right.
While we have him.
Yeah, shoot. I can't guarantee this pitch will go through. I better make it fast. My internet does not love me tonight.
It happens. All right. Tell us about it.
All right. So my story takes place 200 years in the future in a post-apocalyptic world where everyone has become immortal. So there was a mysterious event in the year 2000 that gave all of humanity the power of immortality, but that power didn't include any kind of abilities. They can still age. They still get sick. If you were to lose a limb in this world, nothing's going to magically grow back. So it centers on a group of 5 heroes who are out trying to find a way to restore the natural life cycle, because they realize the only way they can save humanity is by killing them. And this is issue 9. It's a standalone issue that doesn't center on our main group of heroes and their quest to bring death back into the world, but instead it centers on Father, which is the character we see right there, and him on a quest trying to save his wife. This quest leads him all the way into places we've never seen in this world. So there's an area called the Flat Fields, named after a Bauhaus song. If you know that, there's a lot of little music references thrown in there. But he goes there, this is the prison system in this world, because prisons would be way too overcrowded. So they put them in this area called the Flat Fields. That's the first place he goes. And then from the Flat Fields, he's sent to a village where he has to fight against a group of other warriors, all trying to gain access to the village. All of these things he's doing because he's trying to find where his wife is and rescue her before it's too late.
Look at you doing an offshoot story.
Was it the character that made you do an offshoot, or was it the places that you could see him going? There's been, throughout the series when I've been writing it, I've been throwing little mentions to all these different locations. And this kind of like Sean, I was on a run, and his whole story kind of started blowing up in my head. And I thought, I have to tell his story, because all the characters, I have basic origins for them, but this started with issue 3. There was one page where we see his wife being captured, but there's no real context to it. It's just one of the characters describing what happens if you're caught pregnant in this world. And that's where it all starts, is his wife becomes pregnant. And in this world, pregnancy is considered a crime if you're not one of the legal births. So that just kind of, I did that page on page 3, or I wrote that page on page 3. And as I was him do the art, the entire story kind of came into my head. So I wanted to do the offshoot issue to give us kind of a backstory, but also open up into this world that, oh man, I better stop. I'm about to spoil a ton of things. So in this world, there's things that we don't know, and a lot of the mysteries are unfolded in this particular issue. So it answers a lot of ongoing questions that readers have had, and also kind of sets up where everything's going to go for the future issues.
Very nice. All right. Tiers.
My favorite tier is Sold, and that was the original cover. We had that for the variant, and you would get the cover, you get a poster, so you can have it in black and white and in color. And of the tiers that are left, my favorite is the limited edition bundle, where you'll get the foil, you'll get our other variant cover, and you get the standard cover. And the foil and the variant, I only do 25 copies of, and over the last few campaigns that I've done, the foils have fully sold out through the Kickstarter. So It's kind of get it now or regret it later.
There you go. I always like the tumblers too.
And do you have the catch-up
tumblers
for,
are cool.
do you still have the single issues, or are you just
I
they have
do.
to catch up through the trade?
I have 3 different catch-up tiers, actually. I have the single issue catch-up tier where you can get all the floppies, not all first prints by this point, but
Sure.
you can get all of them in their regular floppies. I have the soft cover and the hard cover that you can get catch as well. But yeah, I thought when I released the trade that nobody was going to want floppies anymore. But what I find is at cons, it's still about a 50-50 split. There's those people that say, I just love the floppies. I want to get all of these. And of course, then they're like, well, I want a first print of issue 1. It's like, you're like 3 years too late. But, I do have a graded one here for $200 and it's all yours. And I no longer even have that to say because some guy said, all right, fine. I want first prints of every issue you have in your graded one. So
that's awesome.
That made my con very good when that was the first day, an hour in, and a guy comes and buys one of everything on CGC. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I do have floppies. That's one of our catch-up tiers. And that's actually, of the catch-up tiers on this particular campaign, that's been the most popular. That and the digital. So it's $20 if you wanted all 9 issues digital. And then I think it's like 60 something, and that's shipped and everything for the 9 issues of floppies. And that's been the most popular catch-up tier. No one's bought any of the trade ones yet. So, I mean, there's still time, but yeah, I think floppies, you're going to have that particular group of people that's what they're going to want. So I make sure that I always have those available. And I just actually did second print of issue 4 and a second print of issue 6. So those will be second prints now. But yeah, the first prints of those just sold out recently.
Very cool. I know that's hard with the longer running series. We did one of our series where it's going to be mini series, like 3 mini series, Hellboy style. But I still don't know, like long term, will people still want all the singles, or will they be like, okay, I'll get a trade of 1 and issues of 1? And
yeah,
just I don't know how to keep it all in stock.
I think that's the thing is I thought no one would want them, but at the cons they were still selling. So I just went and did prints of all of them. But I'm doing a lot smaller print runs for the second print. Besides issue 1, when people come to the con, they're kind of sold on your pitch, but not ready to drop down $25 or $50. But they're ready to drop $6 to try out the issue 1 and see.
Fair.
So that's what I see at this point. That's what people buy the most of. So when I do new prints of issue 1, I do full 500 print runs to keep it going, because that's the number one thing I sell at cons still is just regular floppy issue 1.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anybody who's on the fence, the trade is massive. I have one, so you get a lot of story in there.
Yeah.
It's 6 issues, but each issue was between 24 and 28 pages. So it's a lot. And then there's a epilogue as well that I threw into the trade that wasn't available in any of the single issues, because when people buy the trade, they want something new. So I gave the 6-page closing, and then if you buy the hardcover, it also has a cover gallery and a script to final section. So it has all the bells and whistles. I tell people it's kind of like when people did buy Blu-rays and DVDs, you had your standard edition, so that's our soft cover, and then you had your special edition with all the the fancy documentaries and director's commentaries. So yeah, your disc 2 version, that's the hardcover, and that one I only did 100 of, and I think I'm down to like 30 of them left. So
nice.
Wow.
And we're actually closing in. The artwork's being done for what will be the final issue of the second story arc, so we'll be preparing a trade for that one as well.
Yeah, well, and I know you say just keep the issues in print, but my house is looking like Madeline's over here.
Oh,
I'm like buried in books. I'm about to have 1,000 trades floating in my house. I'm going to have to make like a little bed out of them to sleep on.
Oh yeah, my office is books.
This is a fulfillment center here, but
right,
part of it. But yeah, I mean, everyone has different experiences. Most people want trades. From my experience, and there'll be maybe a handful of people who want a floppy, and they'll usually contact me separately. I mean, I have a handful of people who it always surprises me who literally want not only like the Kickstarter originals, but the source point ones and everything in between. I'm like, okay.
So are you still reprinting ones?
No,
Nice.
no.
She's graduated.
Only going
Yeah.
forward, not
And-
going backwards.
I really thought the floppies were going to die when I did get the trades, but I don't know. I guess it's just that particular market. They want those floppies in hand. And I mean, I always have tons of trades because I did a huge run of the soft cover. So there's plenty of those. That's what my office is just, the sea of books. So I know the feeling with that. And when I do another trade, I'm thinking, oh, wow, I haven't even sold all the first ones. Where the heck am I going to put the next one? But that's next year me's problem. So I'll worry about it then.
Screw him.
That guy can just shut up. I don't want to hear from his whining.
Oh,
I wonder if it comes down to the genre too. If people have a preference for like having a whole trade, or if they want single floppies.
Yeah, it could be that.
I know when I
particular
collected
thing.
more, I hated to have like a mix. I always wanted just trades or just singles.
Yeah,
But
and I'm a floppies collector, so when I buy them, I like to get the single floppies when I can. So I understand that collecting mentality, but the dozens of long boxes in my garage are saying,
Yeah.
man, couldn't you have just bought some trades? We'd
Yeah.
have a lot more room.
well, you think, but
Yeah.
I got bookshelves full of those damn things too. They're everywhere. At least
Yeah, I
you can
guess-
display them, but
One way or the other, you're going to be full.
you're gonna be buried in paper
Yep.
before it's over.
If you're a reader, that's how it goes, unless you start collecting digital.
Yeah.
boo.
Yeah. Hey, no, my digital collectors, I love them. Please buy more digital. But yeah,
Yeah, me
Me too.
myself,
I'm like,
no
I don't have to
thanks.
ship anything. Oh man, this is great.
Yeah,
No
I
packaging? What?
just press send and I'm done. I love
Done.
this.
Fulfilled.
Yes.
Digital is
Yes.
great. Digital is great. I have no room to like buy comics anymore, so I basically do all digital at this point because I can't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get that. We I do like number ones floppy
Yeah.
for the most part, unless it's something I'm really like the Dick Tracy coming up. I will own all the individual issues of that.
Mhm.
It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say this earlier, Madeline. I guess this would be more of an update for you. The last time that we spoke, Jessica had dropped the news about the convention center, and what was it?
Yeah, they've changed their minds. They're no longer they've changed their minds about selling the convention center,
Where is it?
the Steel City
Steel City Con. Yeah.
Oh,
and
Steel City.
Monroeville.
Oh,
They've-
that's right.
They've now changed their minds, so I suppose it's back on at the normal location.
They've decided
they
no
told
sale.
me I was on the waiting list. We'll see. It kind of depends on, if it's 3 days, or even 2 weeks ahead of time. I can't do that because I'm coming
Yeah.
from California.
Yeah, for sure.
So I need more lead time to make it even reasonably affordable.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But,
I understand that.
yeah.
I'm gonna come see you if you go to that one. Then.
Just up the street.
For sure.
Just
I know, 'cause-
So,
'cause
Madeline,
most-
are you
most of
doing
my other
WonderCon
friends
this
are
weekend?
right here.
Yes, I will be at WonderCon this weekend in Small Press 76.
I'll
So
be
I've already
there.
started packing for that. And
Yeah.
I get into like con mindset. Like yesterday I was doing all the packing and organizing everything. And I had a 7 o'clock podcast. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to forget this podcast. So I had to set alarms because
Yeah.
I'm in con mode or in this mode or in that mode. And yeah. So will you be there?
I will.
Okay. Are
And I
you
should
in
know my
small
booth
press?
number, but I don't. But I'm in small press.
Are you in small press? Oh, well, I'll find you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I always find you at the shows. But yeah, I'll come over and say hi and see if I'm
Great.
missing anything.
He'll be the one with the head on a stick.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna walk around with that. No one wanted my head on a stick. Now there's those two people on Kickstarter that are buying all the death tiers. I'm like, where were you last year? I needed you. I was ready to have you dead, but no, they're like immortality in your world. No one dies. I don't want that.
That's right.
They don't want to be
Oh.
living heads. They want to be dead heads.
Hey, it's a popular thing.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for each other? Really? No one wants to ask somebody something random?
Something
No, I
random.
mean, Ed, how long do you have planned? How many issues are we going with Immortal Era?
I'm planning on 24. So it'll be 4 6-issue story arcs, and then I have you think you can put it to bed, but I have a lot of side stories because, of course, in the series you have a 200-year time jump. It starts in the year 2000, then it jumps to the year 2200, and there's a lot of stories to tell. When I did the one for the for Travis's what is that, Tales from the Collective initiative, I told the story of what happened when immortality began in Japan, and I started doing a lot of research on other cultures and their death mythologies. And I think it would be fun to kind of do a little short stories that could be collected later on that would take place in different countries and different cultures. So it's something that I have planned that wouldn't be part of the main story, but for the main story, that'll be 24 issues.
Nice.
So will the shorter stories be in prose or comic format?
I would say both. I'm not going to limit myself to which ways I would
Okay.
do them, because I did one, and when I start writing it, I always write it as if it's prose. So I could easily have done that as a prose story, but then I converted it to comic because, of course, Travis didn't want a prose story for that. He wanted a comic one, but any of them could go either way. And I think with 6 pages of prose, you have more room to work with. But I would think I would always do little 6-page stories and just put them as parts of the trade, because the first story from the collective will be put into the volume 2 trade, because it does introduce a character who becomes very significant for later parts of the series. So I tell people, okay, for those that are coming to my table, I said, this one, it's a little 6-page story. I said, but this particular character is going to become a huge villain in the 3rd story arc.
I want to ask the same thing of Madeline, though. What are you planning? Like, how far are you going?
I constantly ask myself that question. I would, obviously want to finish off the Mystery at Pikes Peak series, hopefully within the next year. Cross my fingers that Elizabeth will be healed and be back on the job. I'm also have been starting a novel trilogy that's a prequel to volume 1. I've been working on this for years. I actually have the first novel done and was 20,000 words into the second novel last year when my father passed away. So, I mean, and I was the executor, so you can imagine what, that went bye-bye. I'm hoping to get back into that because we're just about finished with everything now. For those of you who ever become executors, just know it's going to suck out 6 to 8 months of your life. Mm-hmm. And there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I do have an idea. Like the Mystery at Pikes Peak is a complete story arc, but it definitely leaves it wide open. I mean, I do have a plan. I don't have the exact story, but I do have a plan. After the next one after Pikes Peak, we'll see. That it might be time to put it to bed because there's other series that have been on the back burner for a while that I want to do, and since I've been in the indie world now for quite a while, I think I can build a really great team and launch something pretty special. So we shall see. It's all about time, as you guys know.
Absolutely.
Carving at the time.
I get encouraged every time I hear comic book people talking about writing prose as well, because I feel like there should be more of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd ask Greg how long he was going, but I think last I heard he plans on dying while writing. So, it's not even worth the question. John, a lot of what you do is kind of short series, right? Short runs.
Yeah, I try to now, and this my second life in comics. I try to be more realistic. You might not get another issue after the one you're writing, so I try to give people a satisfying story. Keep some threads out there, but a lot of our series, with the exception of like Drumsticks of Doom, which has a much bigger story,
Right.
and thankfully that's continued on now into its 5th issue. But yeah, a lot of them I do write, with the intention that if you walked away, then you'd get a satisfying story, and then kind of see how it goes, and then see how much more I can build on it.
I remember back in the day when John posted about like he wasn't sure if Drumsticks of Doom was going to continue, and then look at you now.
Yeah,
Still going.
well, I mean that's a credit to co-creator Dan Doherty. I mean he's the star. People come for, whatever the story's going to be. You're going to get amazing art. So he's definitely the star there. So I'm very happy. But that's very much issue to issue too. If we have a bomb on the next one, we have to go back to square one. So
Yeah. Sean, how about you? Do you have any thoughts in mind, or are you just going?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just focused on Fog Within for probably a good long time. I would love to get to 12 issues. I know that's huge, and it's not a small thing at all. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely have it already broken down. I've outlined every page for all 12 issues. It'll be 3 arcs. So at least right now I'm working on finishing the first arc. As long as I can stay funded each time, then I'll just keep on continuing with it. So it all depends on if I can grow the audience, and at least not even if I'm making any money, as long as I can just have enough to fund each issue. That's just really what I want to do right now. So
That's awesome.
We'll see. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's get it wrapped up. Everybody that's listening or watching, even if it's later on, everybody's campaign should still be active. So go check out all the links. And then I need to put all the links whenever I turn this into a podcast as well. But let's make sure everybody tells everybody where to find them. We'll just go right around the horn again. John, go ahead.
Once again, I'm John. I'm the owner of Part-Time Comics, writer, letterer, publisher. You can find me at the link tree right below. Just search Part-Time Comics with an X on the internet, and we come up on all the major sites. But yeah, we've got we're into the second Kickstarter of 5 this year, so we have a big year here. So we got to get through this one first. But yeah, we've always got something going on.
Very true. Madeline.
Madeline, writer, creator, Boston Metaphysical Society. You can find us at bostonmetaphysicalsociety.com, or just go over to Kickstarter and type in Boston Metaphysical. We're the only ones there. And yeah, we're live for about 22, 23 more days, and we've made 3 stretch goals so far. So we got lots of free goodies for people, and some cool add-ons and embellishments for the hardback to make it even more beautiful than it already is.
Awesome. Ed, go ahead.
So you can find me at Finish Line Comics on all the different social medias, including YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to start adding a lot more content to those. The first thing I'll be doing is actually reviewing Sean's book in one of my quick little 1-minute reviews. So that's what I'm currently working on right now, because I want to grow the YouTube and TikTok presence, because I know that's where the kids go. Facebook and Instagram are dead to them. So you can find right now issue 9 of Immortal Era. You can start fresh, read it, and have no context of the rest of the story and still enjoy it, because it's a standalone issue. So head there, but I don't recommend starting at issue 9. Buy them all. Floppies, hardcovers, soft covers, you name it. Go to Greg's and you can get some of my books as well as stretch goals. You want to start unlocking those. Wow. And then for the rest of the year, next up will be Corruptor #2, followed by issue 10 of Immortal Era, and then issue 11 of Immortal Era. All of those, the artwork is done. We're just getting colors and letters done. So lots of stuff this year coming out. And then next year, we'll be getting ready to close out the story arc and put the second trade out.
Nice. All right, Sean.
Yep. So Sean Wood _writer at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Don't really have much of a TikTok, but it's there. Also on Reddit. I'm trying to do something with Reddit too. But yeah, anywhere that I can think of, Sean Wood _writer. The Fog Within 1 through 2 on Kickstarter now until I think April 12th. And yeah.
Freaking Greg.
Nova Comics. I am the co-owner of that. The other owner is sleeping or reading or whatever he's doing. You could back our Kickstarter for scales right now. And you can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram. Yep, Pinterest.
Go check out Greg's mood board on Pinterest.
It's just random stuff from like years ago. Yeah,
it's all
like,
lightsabers. What is? That was it. That's all you got. All right. You still don't want people to find you, right?
No, just on Catalyst.
Catalyst Comic Studio for us. Also, check out That's Pitching. That's going to be on the second Tuesday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we do a bunch of voiceover pitches for a bunch of our friends' campaigns, and then we go through our stuff without those friends. It's weird, but fun. Co-hosted by our friend Tier Jackson at Sovereign Comics and two of us, but we'll probably be on separate computers that time. Who knows? But yeah, Catalyst Comic Studio everywhere. Our next thing is One Last Job. The graphic novel's coming out in June on Kickstarter. Pre-launch links up. And then Fall of Night is in demand on Indiegogo. So if you missed out on the Kickstarter, it's over there. And then on April 23rd, Atreidian Justice Issue 2 launches. And I scripted that, but that's through Fearless Comics. So check that out. And I don't know who's going to have the last word. Let's go with Sean, because I don't really know Sean. So Sean, you get the last word.
Let Kylie have the last word.
Oh, you know what? Let's
Kylie,
do that.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, sorry. You got.
What do you want to say to the internet? Tell them to buy the Arachnigator stuffy. She helped co-create this stuffed animal right here.
Very nice. Very
That's
cool.
nice.
I love the picture.